So imagine my surprise when I show up at the Mar Vista Farmers Market yesterday, not only to see who's signing, if anyone's signing up petitions, but at the same time to maybe buy some produce. I never made it to the produce because I stayed with you guys. It was so nice to see you, and thank you so much for being out there collecting signatures at different locations. Yesterday, Sunday, was Mar Vista, but you've been everywhere, man. So talk about where you've been so far and what the experience has been like.
So first one was Trader Joe's Marina Del Rey, and that was pretty good, and I was received well by management, and they seemed to be sort of really their only concern was to not really bug their customers or no high pressure tactics. And so I was allowed to be there for about 4 hours and with no issues whatsoever. It was great. And I was probably about 15 to 20 feet from the front entrance. So a lot of foot traffic.
And you had a sign that said "Recall Bonin"?
Yeah, had signs, a few of them. And I have an easel, an art easel. We've got, of course, the pokers or whatever you call those that go into the ground. And just very, very visible. Make sure that I hit all of the different angles that people could see it from, whether they were coming, going, or from the sides. I think that was pretty important to have.
And were you mostly ignored? Were you greeted like a local hero? What was the reception at Trader Joe's?
It was people were anxious and they were animated and very full of energy and wanting to be involved. I actually handed out a few yard signs. There were people that wanted to do the same thing I was doing, get signatures. So they were very enthusiastic and were very eager to not only sign, but find out how they could get more involved. The Mar Vista was great. That was fantastic. However, where we were, again, they came up to us. We weren't allowed to be. We were on a really busy corner. And right next to it, and we weren't allowed to be there. Their permit actually from Mar Vista extends out towards. There's a trash can if you're talking about you'd be going east of Grandview on Venice on that corner. Their permit for the farmers market extends to where there's a trash can there, a city trash can, and you're kind of removed. You're not as much in the thick of it, the action, but again, just had a conversation with the guy, talked with him. He lived in Santa Clarita near Magic Mountains, just sort of getting to know him and talk to him. It establishes that relationship, and I think they feel, and you let them know, I'm not going to bother your customers. I'm not, hey, sign. No, people will come up to you naturally, and he was watching and he saw it, and he let us stay.
Well, I think they did come up to you naturally. I know somebody came up to me naturally. The moment I parked my car, I couldn't believe that somebody knew my name, and it was Sheryl.
I recognized you from all the Zoom calls from getting this whole recall effort started. So
yeah, back in
I was happy to see you. Yeah.
Yeah. When March and April, I thought there was a period of time I thought we were all going to move in together. So many Zoom calls.
I actually think it's easier.
Yeah, it has gotten a lot easier. Now, I want we got Pete up there with a couple of photos. I want to show them right now. This is directly across the street from where you were standing and where we met and where our conversation was, where you were getting signatures. That's the bowling alley in Mar Vista. Many birthday parties been held there, different events.
Yep.
I'm not even sure it's open. Now, that's directly across the street. You can see there's a donut shop that people think. And in that alleyway, too, Pete, can you make it a little bigger as we're talking to zoom in, or are we kind of there? It is. Nope. We're going to see it that way. So but they, the Mar Vista certainly is a community that's been impacted in many different areas by folks living on the street and in their parks and in there everywhere. And so did you get a lot of good response yesterday? A lot of people stop and sign?
Yeah, I mean, we did. So the pictures that you showed, so Alan and I kind of split up. He was on one side across the street from where the bowling alley was, and I was sort of on the other side where the tents were on the street. And as I was standing there, I was holding a sign, my petition, of course. And I witnessed people walking from their neighborhood and coming to the farmer's market. They literally all walked into the street to avoid, because they could not walk on the sidewalk in order to get to the farmers market. I think some of it was safety. They were afraid. And I think the response was amazing. The one thing that really sticks out to me is Alan actually had a woman come up to him, sign the petition, who said she worked very hard to actually get Mike Bonin elected. And
she felt betrayed.
She could not wait to sign that petition. And for me, like, that speaks volumes, that you have large supporters at the time of Mike Bonin to help do everything they could to get him into office. And now they want to do everything they can to get him out of office because of the situation that we're in.
Yeah. So I one of the things that I sort of said that was that having that homeless encampment behind the donut store and then with the bowling alley was really an amazing visual like aid, because there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
and
a little closer. Thanks, Pete.
The piles of debris and trash. And so what I would say is that look at that. I said, this isn't good for anybody. It's not good for them. It's not good for us. Whether you have a home or you don't have a home, those are human beings. That is not the way human beings should exist or live. I'm sure that they don't enjoy living like that. And if they had a choice to not live like that, they would probably choose that. And that seemed to really resonate with people. And it was sort of like, it's because this is not just all about, this is not a NIMBY thing at all. This is about a humanitarian, crisis, in my opinion. So one of the other things I was going to say is that as a petitioner, volunteer getting signatures, is that I think one of the important things to do is also to consider having some sort of a table, like Oz has that ironing board. It's a great idea. To have signs. I like the easels. Everything's very lightweight, and that you saw them, Charles. There, to just have the signs sort of at eye level, I think, and in all different directions, and have sanitizing wipes, sanitizing spray for the pens. And I think having that really seemed to help, because people sort of gravitated. It was like a little sort of a pseudo traveling office type of a thing.
And we found the same thing too, Chuck, at the Marina Del Rey pharmacy. I mean, Alan and I were standing there.
Pharmacy?
Sorry, the Marina Del Rey farmers market, that we just stood there. People saw the signs, and yeah, we had a couple of people that were resistant. I mean, I had one guy who said, "Is he a Democrat or a Republican?" And I said, "Why does that matter?" And he said, "Well, if he's a Republican, I'll be happy to sign."
Okay.
So you just say, okay, well, go on your merry way. But yeah, we at one point had kind of a line for people to just sign.
That's the other thing. Multiple clipboards. It really seemed to help people. Don't want to wait in line. So I think that you saw that. We had one time. You saw there was a lot of action when you were there.
Not only a lot of action, but we actually I walked off with one of your clipboards and left one of mine behind. I understand. But by the end of the day, so how many, you've been doing this a week, how many have you got so far?
We got two or three books. I'd say 100 to 150, somewhere in there. I got to get them to the office soon. I want to get them completed, get them signed out. We've got another idea for what we're going to do the next day or two. Go by the Lighthouse Bridge off of Pacific. And there's a lot of people walking around. The weather's getting warm. A lot of people going to the beach. Get a lot of locals that way, more people. So we're yesterday by far though was the most. I think we got 43 or 45, which is pretty good. We were there for a few hours.
And it's exciting to talk to people in the neighborhood. I mean, I actually had a woman that she went onto the website, found out that we were going to be there yesterday, and she drove from Westchester. So we talked about the safety of her kids at school. And I think that where we really have a great opportunity in the next coming weeks is once school does start back up. I think if we can do some sort of a COVID safety drive-through sign-in sheet, as parents are doing drop-off and pick-up, and then maybe 2 back-to-school night, I think the response would be overwhelming. Parents are concerned. I had a conversation with a woman and her husband. They were with their small kids at the Marina farmers market. And they go to a private school. There's a trailer parked right outside. And they have witnessed, you know, whoever's living there doing drugs and, you know, defecating in the street. The principal actually called the city. Their solution, which is mind-blowing, was, we think you should hire that person to help him get off the street. I mean, it's unfathomable. I mean, really?
Well, he might be very good. You never know. He may be really good in trigonometry or something, but I doubt
mean, it's
that.
frustrating. And you know, we don't have kids of that age anymore. They're grown, but I can't even imagine how parents are feeling.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And that's why it's I'm sure so many appreciate that you're there, out there with the petitions so that they can express themselves. We need more volunteers, and the best role models you can find are right here. So thank you, Sheryl, and Alan, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.